Every single day, there's a war going on in your mind. Every single day. And you'd better show up to that battle ready to fight. Because if you don't control your thoughts will control you. And let me tell you something, when your thoughts are in control, they will run you right into the ground. Most people don't even realize they're in a battle. They just let thoughts come and go like they're watching a parade. They let fear march through. They let doubt set up camp. They let worry throw a party in their head. And then they wonder why their life is a mess. Your mind is ground zero for everything that happens in your life. Everything starts there. You've got thoughts telling you that you're not good enough. You've got thoughts saying you can't do it. You've got thoughts reminding you of every time you failed. Those thoughts are the enemy's soldiers, and they're trying to take over your territory. But here's what you need to understand. You are the general of this army. You got the authority to say which thoughts get to stay and which ones got to go. Too many people are losing the battle because they don't even know they're supposed to be fighting. They think thoughts just happen to them like the weather. They think they're victims of their own minds. But that's a lie. You're not a victim. You're a warrior. And this battle in your mind is the most important battle you'll ever fight. The enemy wants you to believe you're powerless. The enemy wants you to think that whatever pops into your head is the truth. But you've got to recognize the lies. You've got to identify the thoughts that are trying to destroy you. And then you have to fight back with the truth. Fight back with faith. Fight back with power. This battleground determines everything else. You win the battle in your mind, you win in your relationships. You win in your mind, you win in your career. You win in your mind, you win in your finances. But if you lose your mind, you lose everywhere else. So suit up, soldier, get ready. This is your battle, and it's time to start winning. This is not philosophy, this is facts. Whatever you're thinking about all day long, that's what you're becoming. You're sitting around thinking about failure. Guess what's coming? You're thinking about how broke you are. You're going to stay broke. But when you start thinking about success, opportunity, and blessings, watch what happens to your life. Your brain is like a manufacturing plant. Whatever raw materials you put in, that's what it's going to produce. You put in thoughts of poverty, you manufacture a poverty mindset. You put in thoughts of defeat, you manufacture a defeated life. You put in thoughts of success, you manufacture success. It's really that simple. Your thoughts are the raw materials, and your life is the product. I've seen people with every advantage in the world end up with nothing because their thinking was broken. And I've seen people start with nothing and build empires because their thinking was rich. It wasn't their circumstances that determined their outcome. It was their thoughts. What you meditate on, what you focus on, what you give your mental energy to, that's what multiplies in your life. Some of you are thinking about your problems 23 hours a day and about your dreams for 1 hour, and then you're wondering why your life is full of problems. The math ain't mathing. You got to flip that ratio. Spend 23 hours thinking about where you're going and 1 hour dealing with where you are. What you focus on expands. What you think about grows. Your subconscious mind is listening to every thought you think. It doesn't judge whether the thought is good or bad, true or false. It just accepts what you're telling it and starts working to make it your reality. You keep thinking you're a failure. Your subconscious says, okay, let me show you more failure. You start thinking you're destined for greatness. Your subconscious says, all right, let me open up some doors for greatness. People say they want to change their lives, but they won't change their thinking. That's like saying you want to get to a different destination, but you won't change the direction you're driving. It doesn't work that way. You want a different life, start with different thoughts. You want different results, start with a different mindset. You are becoming what you think about, so you'd better start thinking about something worth becoming. Have you ever tried to grow a garden? Those weeds will take over everything if you let them. That's exactly what negative thoughts do. You can't just plant one positive thought and walk away. You've got to pull those negative weeds out daily. Get rid of that doubt. Yank out that fear. Pull up that I can't do it mentality and throw it in the trash. They don't need any help to grow. You don't have to water weeds. You don't have to fertilize weeds. You don't have to give them sunlight. They just grow on their own. That's exactly how negative thoughts work. They pop up automatically. They spread automatically. They multiply automatically. You don't have to do anything for negativity to grow in your mind. It's going to happen naturally. But the good stuff, the flowers, the vegetables, the fruits, they need attention. They need care. They need cultivation. Positive thoughts are the same way. You got to water them. You got to protect them. You got to nurture them. You can't just think one positive thought on Monday and expect it to carry you through the whole week while 1,000 negative thoughts are popping up every day. Most people spend all their time planting positive thoughts, but they never pull the weeds. So the weeds choke out everything good they're trying to grow. You got to be aggressive with those negative thoughts. The moment you notice one, pull it. Don't let it take root. Don't let it spread. Don't let it go to seed and multiply. Grab it and rip it out immediately. And here's what makes it harder. Some of these weeds have been growing for years. Some of these negative thought patterns have roots that go deep. They're going to be harder to pull. But that doesn't mean you stop trying. That means you grab them with both hands and you pull harder. You might have to dig around the root. You might have to get some help. But those deep-rooted negative beliefs have got to go. The beautiful thing is, the more you maintain your mental garden, the easier it gets. When you're pulling weeds every single day, they don't get a chance to establish themselves. Your garden gets healthier. Your positive thoughts get stronger. And eventually, those positive thoughts are so strong and so established that weeds have a harder time finding a place to grow. But you got to stay on it. You got to tend your garden every single day. Why are you watching reruns of your worst moments? You got a highlight reel of every mistake, every embarrassment, every time you fell flat on your face, and you're playing it over and over like it's your favorite movie. Turn it off. What's done is done. You can't drive forward looking in the rearview mirror. Some of you have been replaying the same failure for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You're still thinking about that business that didn't work. You're still thinking about that relationship that ended. You're still thinking about that opportunity you missed. And every time you replay it, you're reliving the pain. You're reopening the wound. You're keeping yourself stuck in a moment that's already gone. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something that's happening right now and something you're vividly remembering. When you replay that failure in your mind, your brain thinks it's happening again. Your body releases the same stress hormones. Your emotions respond the same way. You're literally putting yourself through that failure over and over again. You failed once, but you're choosing to fail 1,000 times by replaying it in your mind. Here's what I need you to understand. The lesson doesn't require constant replaying. You can learn from something without reliving it every day. You touched a hot stove once. You learned it was hot. You don't need to touch it every day to remember the lesson. Same thing with your failures. Extract the lesson, apply the wisdom, and move on. Stop torturing yourself with instant replays. Every time you think about that failure, you're stealing energy from your future. You're using mental and emotional resources that could be building something new. And instead, you're using them to maintain a monument to something old. That's not honor. That's not learning. That's bondage. You're in prison and you're the warden. You got the keys. Open the door and walk out. Starting right now, when your mind tries to replay that old failure, redirect it. Change the channel. Think about what you learned. Think about how you've grown. Think about what you're building now. Your past failures do not deserve prime time in your thought life. Give that space to your dreams. Give that space to your future. Give that space to something that's actually moving you forward. I need you to understand this. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Everything you see around you started as a thought. Your job started as a thought. Your relationship started as a thought. Your bank account is reflecting your thoughts about money. If you want to change your life, you got to change your thinking. Look around at your life right now. Whatever you see is the physical manifestation of your dominant thoughts. If your life is chaotic, your thoughts have been chaotic. If your life is peaceful, your thoughts have been peaceful. If your life is abundant, your thoughts have been abundant. If your life is lacking, your thoughts have been focused on lack. This is not mysterious. This is the law. This is how it works. People want to argue with this because it means taking responsibility. It's easier to blame circumstances. It's easier to blame other people. It's easier to say life just happened to you. But when you accept that your thoughts create your reality, you're accepting power. You're accepting control. You're saying that if my thoughts created this reality I don't like, my thoughts can create a different reality I do like. Everything that exists in the physical world existed in someone's mind first. The chair you're sitting on, somebody thought it up. The building you're in, somebody envisioned it. The phone in your hand, somebody imagined it before it existed. Creation starts in the mind. Your life is no different. The life you're living is the life you've been thinking about, whether you did it consciously or unconsciously. This is why two people can go through the same situation and come out completely different. Same circumstance, different thoughts, different reality. One person loses their job and thinks this is the end and they spiral downward. Another person loses their job and thinks this is their opportunity and they build something better. Same event, different thoughts, different outcomes. Your thoughts are the filter through which you experience reality, and they shape what you create next. Stop waiting for your reality to change so you can think better thoughts. That's backwards. Start thinking better thoughts right now and watch your reality shift. Think thoughts of abundance and abundance will show up. Think thoughts of possibility and possibilities will appear. Think thoughts of victory and you'll start seeing paths to win. Your outer world has no choice but to eventually reflect your inner world. Change your thoughts, change your life. You wouldn't just let anybody walk into your house, right? So why are you letting any old thought set up camp in your mind? You got to be the security guard at the door of your brain. When negativity tries to walk in, you say, nope, not today, you can't come in here. Be selective about what you allow in your mental space. Your mind is the most valuable real estate you own. It's more valuable than your house. It's more valuable than your car. It's more valuable than your bank account. Because everything you'll ever create, everything you'll ever build, everything you'll ever become starts in your mind. If someone tried to break into your house, you'd call the police. But people let toxic thoughts break into their minds every single day and don't do anything about it. You got to establish some security protocols. What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you talking to? What are you reading? All of that is trying to get into your mind. Some of it deserves access. Some of it absolutely does not. You need to filter what comes in because once it's in, it's going to try to influence everything you do. A lot of people are struggling because they're letting everybody else's thoughts become their thoughts. They're watching the news all day and wondering why they're depressed. They're scrolling through social media, looking at everybody else's highlight reel and wondering why they feel inadequate. They're hanging around negative people and wondering why they can't stay positive. You got to guard the gates. You got to monitor what's trying to get in. This doesn't mean you ignore reality. This doesn't mean you live in denial. This means you're intentional about what you expose yourself to. You choose content that builds you up instead of tears you down. You choose conversations that inspire you instead of drain you. You choose information that empowers you instead of discourages you. You're the gatekeeper. Exercise that authority. When a thought shows up that doesn't serve you, reject it at the door. You don't have to let it in just because it knocked. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every worry deserves your energy. Not every fear deserves consideration. You get to choose. So choose to guard your mind like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Protect your mental space with everything you've got. The first thought you think when you wake up is setting the temperature for your entire day. You wake up dreading the day. That's what you're going to get. But when you wake up and say today is going to be amazing, today is my day, I'm grateful to be alive, watch how your whole day shifts. Control that first thought and you control the day. Most people grab their phone before they even get out of bed. They're checking emails, scrolling social media, reading news. And they're letting other people's thoughts become their first thoughts. Before they've even said good morning to themselves, they've let 100 other voices into their head. That's giving away your power right at the start. The first hour of your day is sacred. That's when your mind is most impressionable. That's when you set your mental trajectory. If you start the day thinking about problems, you're going to be looking for problems all day. If you start the day thinking about stress, you're going to find stress everywhere you turn. But if you start the day thinking about gratitude, possibilities, and purpose, you're going to notice opportunities you would have missed otherwise. You got to be intentional about that first thought. Before you check your phone, before you talk to anybody, before you do anything else, you need to direct your mind where you want it to go. Say something powerful out loud. Think about what you're grateful for. Visualize your day going well. Set your intention. Take control of your thinking before the day takes control of you. Some of you are wondering why every day feels like a struggle. It's because every morning you wake up already struggling in your mind. You wake up thinking about how tired you are, how much you have to do, how hard it's going to be. You're defeated before you even get out of bed. You're setting yourself up for a hard day with those first thoughts. What if you changed that? What if the first thing you did every morning was win the battle in your mind? What if you woke up and immediately started thinking powerful thoughts? I'm blessed. I'm strong. I'm capable. Today is full of opportunity. Good things are coming my way. Those thoughts would change the entire trajectory of your day. You'd show up differently. You'd see things differently. You'd respond differently. Master your morning thoughts, and you'll master your days. You've got two voices in your head, doubt and faith. Whichever one you feed is going to get stronger. Stop feeding your doubts with worry, fear, and what if it doesn't work out? Start feeding your faith with vision, gratitude, and what if it does work out? What if everything you ever wanted is on the other side of changing your thinking? Doubt is always hungry. It's always looking for something to eat. And you know what doubt loves? To feed on your fears, your past failures, your insecurities, other people's opinions, worst case scenarios. Every time you entertain those thoughts, you're feeding doubt. You're making it bigger. You're making it stronger. And when doubt gets strong enough, it'll paralyze you. It'll stop you from taking action. It'll convince you to quit before you even start. But faith needs food too. Faith grows when you feed it. What does faith eat? Your dreams, your vision, your purpose, evidence of past victories, testimonies, gratitude, possibility thinking. Every time you focus on those things, you're feeding faith. You're building it up. You're making it stronger. And when faith gets strong enough, it'll move you forward even when you're scared. Here's the thing, you can't feed both equally and expect to win. You got to make a choice. You got to starve one and feed the other. Most people are feeding doubt 3 meals a day and giving faith a little snack once a week. And then they wonder why doubt is running their life. You got to flip that. Cut doubt off. Stop giving it your attention. Stop meditating on worst case scenarios. Every time doubt shows up, looking for food, redirect your thoughts. Doubt says you're going to fail. You counter with faith. Says I'm going to succeed. Doubt says nobody's going to help you. Faith says the right people are coming. Doubt says it's too late. Faith says it's perfect timing. You got to actively, intentionally, aggressively feed your faith and starve your doubt. The crazy thing is the more you feed faith, the quieter doubt becomes. It doesn't go away completely, but it gets weaker. It loses its power. It can't control you anymore. And the stronger your faith gets, the bolder you become. You start taking action. You start seeing opportunities. You start walking into rooms you used to be afraid to enter, all because you decided to stop feeding doubt and start feeding faith. What you feed will lead, so choose wisely. Have you noticed that when you're thinking negative thoughts, you feel tired, you feel drained? That's because negativity is exhausting. But when you think positive, powerful thoughts, you feel energized, you feel alive. Your thoughts literally change your energy level. You want more energy? Think better thoughts. People spend hundreds of dollars on vitamins and energy drinks trying to get more energy, but they won't change their thoughts. They're drinking coffee all day, trying to stay awake, but they're thinking thoughts that are putting them to sleep. You can't think heavy, negative, depressing thoughts and expect to feel light and energetic. It doesn't work that way. Your mind and body are connected. What happens in your mind affects what happens in your body. Worry is one of the most exhausting mental activities you can engage in. When you're worried, your body is in a state of stress. Your cortisol levels go up. Your muscles tense. Your breathing gets shallow. Your heart rate increases. All of that drains your energy. And here's the thing, worry doesn't solve anything. You're using massive amounts of energy on an activity that produces zero results. That's the worst kind of waste. On the flip side, when you're thinking positive thoughts, when you're grateful, when you're hopeful, when you're excited about your future, your body responds differently. Your brain releases dopamine and serotonin. Your muscles relax. Your breathing deepens. You feel lighter. You feel stronger. You have more energy to take action. Positive thinking isn't just good for your mind. It's good for your whole body. Some of you are wondering why you're always tired. You sleep 8 hours, but you wake up exhausted. You're blaming your age. You're blaming your schedule, but you're not looking at your thoughts. You're thinking stressful thoughts from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Your mind never gets a break. Your body never gets a break. You're exhausted because your thinking is exhausting. If you want more energy, start monitoring your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking something heavy, something negative, something draining, switch it. Think about something you're grateful for. Think about something that makes you smile. Think about a win you had. Think about your vision. Watch what happens to your energy. Your thoughts are either gas or brakes. They're either fueling you or stopping you. Choose thoughts that fuel you. You're sitting around thinking, I'll be happy when I get the promotion, or I'll be confident when I lose the weight. Stop it. Your thoughts need to change right now, not when conditions are perfect. Perfect conditions ain't coming. Start thinking like a winner today, right where you are with what you got. This is one of the biggest traps people fall into. They're waiting for their circumstances to change before they change their thinking. They think that when I get more money, I'll think like a rich person. When I find the right relationship, then I'll think like a loved person. When I get the opportunity, then I'll think like a successful person. But that's backwards. Your thinking has to change first. Your circumstances follow your thoughts, not the other way around. You will never have perfect conditions. There will always be something that's not quite right, something that's not quite ready, some reason to wait. If you're waiting for perfect conditions to start thinking powerful thoughts, you're going to be waiting forever. And while you're waiting, life is passing you by. Opportunities are passing you by. Time is passing you by. The people who win in life are the ones who start thinking like winners before they have any evidence that they're going to win. They think abundant thoughts when their bank account is empty. They think confident thoughts when they have every reason to doubt. They think successful thoughts when they're still at the bottom. That's what separates them. They don't wait for permission from their circumstances to think powerfully. Your current situation is temporary. But if you let your current situation dictate your thoughts, you're going to keep recreating the same situation. You got to think your way into a new situation. You got to think bigger than where you are. You got to think beyond what you can see. That's faith. That's vision. That's how you break cycles and create something new. Right now, today, with whatever you're facing, you can choose to think differently. You don't need more money to think abundantly. You don't need a relationship to think like you're worthy of love. You don't need success to think like a successful person. You can think those thoughts right now. And when you do, you set in motion the forces that will change your circumstances. Stop waiting. Start thinking. The conditions will follow. Here's a powerful truth: your mind can only hold one thought at a time. You can't think I'm going to fail and I'm going to succeed at the same moment. So when that negative thought tries to creep in, replace it immediately with a powerful, positive thought. Don't argue with the negative, just replace it. This is one of the most practical tools you can use. A lot of people try to fight their negative thoughts. They try to argue with them. They try to prove them wrong. But while you're arguing with a negative thought, you're still thinking about it. You're still giving it attention. You're still giving it energy. There's a better way. Just replace it. The moment you notice a negative thought, don't debate it. Don't analyze why it showed up. Don't try to figure out where it came from. Just immediately think a different thought. If the thought is, I can't do this, immediately replace it with, I'm figuring this out. If the thought is that nothing ever works for me, replace it with the thought that something good is about to happen. Quick replacement. Don't give the negative thought any room to expand. This takes practice because we're used to entertaining every thought that pops up. We're used to following thoughts wherever they lead. But you don't have to do that. You're in control. When you notice the thought isn't serving you, switch. Think of your mind like a radio. When a station is playing something you don't want to hear, you don't sit there arguing with the radio. You just change the channel. Do the same thing with your thoughts. The beautiful thing about this principle is that it gives you immediate power. You don't have to wait to feel better before you think better. You don't have to wait for the negative thought to go away on its own. You can switch right now, this very second. Whatever you're thinking right now, if it's not serving you, think something else. It's that simple. The more you practice replacement thinking, the faster you get at it. Eventually it becomes automatic. Negative thought pops up, and you replace them before they can even take root. You become so quick at switching your thoughts that negativity doesn't have a chance to affect you. You're not controlled by whatever randomly pops into your head. You're directing your thoughts intentionally, and that changes everything. If you're constantly thinking negative thoughts about other people, that's showing what you think about yourself. When you're secure in who you are, you don't tear others down in your mind. When you're thinking powerful thoughts about your own potential, you start seeing potential in others too. Clean up your thoughts about others, and you'll clean up your thoughts about yourself. The way you think about other people is a mirror. It's showing you what's going on inside you. When you're constantly judging people, criticizing people, finding fault in people, that's not really about them. That's about you. That's insecurity. That's fear. That's you trying to feel better about yourself by making others small in your mind. But it doesn't work. It actually makes you feel worse. Secure people build others up in their thoughts. When you know who you are, when you know your value, when you know your purpose, you're not threatened by other people's success. You're not bothered by other people's gifts. You can celebrate them in your mind. You can think good thoughts about them because their success doesn't diminish yours. Their gifts don't threaten yours. But when you're insecure, everybody becomes competition. Everybody becomes a threat. So you start thinking critical thoughts. Look at them trying to act like they're something. Who do they think they are? They're not that great. Those thoughts feel like they're about the other person, but they're really about your own insecurity. You're threatened because you don't know your own worth. When you change your thoughts about others, your thoughts about yourself start to change too. When you start thinking generous thoughts about people, when you start celebrating their wins, when you start seeing the good in them, something shifts in you. You become more secure. You become more confident. You start seeing the good in yourself. It's connected. So pay attention to how you think about others. If you find yourself constantly critical, constantly negative, constantly judging, that's a sign you need to work on your own self-image. Start intentionally thinking good thoughts about people. Celebrate their success. Acknowledge their gifts. Wish them well. As you change your thoughts about them, you'll notice your thoughts about yourself getting better too. How you see others is how you see yourself. You brush your teeth every day, right? You shower every day. Well, you got to clean your mind every day too. This ain't a one-time thing. Every single day, you got to discipline your thoughts, redirect your thinking, and remind yourself of the truth. Make it a habit. Your daily mental hygiene is just as important as your physical hygiene. People understand that physical hygiene requires daily maintenance. You don't brush your teeth once a week. You don't shower once a month. You do it every day because if you don't, things get nasty. Same thing with your mind. You can't discipline your thoughts one day and think you're good for the month. Every single day, junk is trying to get in. Every single day, negative thoughts pop up. Every single day, you got to clean house. This means you need a daily practice. It could be meditation. It could be affirmations. It could be reading something positive. It could be journaling. It could be prayer. Whatever works for you, but you need something that helps you reset your mind every single day. You need a ritual that reminds you of the truth. That redirects your focus. That gets you centered. Most people spend more time maintaining their car than maintaining their mind. They'll wash the car, check the oil, rotate the tires, but they won't spend 10 minutes working on their thought life. Then they wonder why their mind breaks down. Then they wonder why they're always stressed, always anxious, always overwhelmed. You got to maintain your mind. It requires regular attention. The discipline part is doing it even when you don't feel like it. Some days you're going to wake up and your thoughts are already going in the right direction. Those are easy days. But some days you're going to wake up and your mind is a mess. Those are the days that matter most. That's when you really need the discipline. You can't skip it because you don't feel like it. You got to do it, especially when you don't feel like it. Make it non-negotiable. Just like you wouldn't leave the house without brushing your teeth, don't start your day without disciplining your thoughts. Build it into your routine. Protect that time. Guard it. Because when you discipline your mind daily, you're not just changing one day. You're changing your entire life. One day at a time. One thought at a time. That daily discipline compounds into transformation. You can't be grateful and miserable at the same time. It's impossible. When you start thinking about what you're grateful for, your whole mindset shifts. Instead of thinking about what you don't have, start thinking about what you do have. That shift right there will open up doors you didn't even know existed. Gratitude is the fastest way to change your state of mind. You could be having the worst day, everything going wrong, and if you pause and start thinking about what you're grateful for, something shifts. Your perspective changes. Your energy changes. You start seeing things differently. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The room was always there, but now you can see it. Most people spend all their mental energy focused on what's missing, what they don't have, what hasn't happened yet, what went wrong. That focus on lack creates more lack. It creates a scarcity mindset. It makes you feel poor even if you're not. It makes you feel like life is against you. But when you shift your focus to gratitude, when you start thinking about what's actually there, what's actually good, what's actually working, abundance shows up. Gratitude isn't about ignoring your problems. It's not toxic positivity. It's about balance. Yes, you got challenges. Yeah, things aren't perfect. But you also got blessings. You also have things that are working. You also have reasons to be thankful. When you acknowledge those things, when you think about those things, you put yourself in a position to receive more. The more grateful you are for what you have, the more you get. It's a magnet. Gratitude attracts more things to be grateful for. Complaining attracts more things to complain about. Whatever you focus on expands. So if you're constantly thinking ungrateful thoughts, if you're constantly focused on what's not good enough, you're going to get more of that. But when you focus on gratitude, when you think thoughts of appreciation, more good stuff shows up. Start right now. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. Don't overthink it. Just 3 things. It could be your health. It could be a person in your life. It could be a roof over your head. It could be the fact that you woke up this morning. Think about those 3 things for a minute. Really think about them. Notice how your mood shifts. That's the power of gratitude. Now imagine if you did that every single day. Imagine if grateful thoughts became your default. Your whole life would change. It goes like this: thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, habits become character, and character becomes your destiny. It all starts with a thought. You want to change your destiny, go back to the beginning and change your thoughts. That's where your power is. Everything you say out loud started as a thought. Before you spoke it, you thought it. And here's the thing: words have power. What you say shapes what you do. What you say creates your reality. So if your thoughts are negative, your words are going to be negative. And if your words are negative, your actions are going to reflect that. It's a chain reaction. Listen to what you've been saying about yourself. Listen to what you've been saying about your situation. I'm so broke. I can't ever get ahead. Nothing works for me. I'm not smart enough. I always mess things up. Those aren't just harmless words. Those are declarations. Those are instructions you're giving